Hi guys, today we're going through this Leetcode problem called Spiral Matrix. Given an m into x matrix, return all the elements of matrix in a spiral order. And there's an example over here. Right, to solve this problem, we need a couple of variables. First of all, we need to know the direction that we're moving in, horizontal or vertical. So I will create a boolean horizontal, which will be true when we're moving horizontally and false when we're moving vertically. Next, we need to keep track of the row and column we're at, which will be 0 to begin with. Okay, so I'm going to create a variable with the same matrix, which I can modify, because this parameter is not a variable. I'm going to iterate through the items in this matrix and add them to the spiral array. As I go along, I will also remove the items I've already added to the spiral from this matrix. So let's go ahead and create a variable which can have the same name matrix but can be modified since it's a variable, and an array which will hold the spiral. Then we will loop through the matrix using a while loop, and we will carry on iterating through it until there are no items left in the matrix. In this while loop, let's check if the direction is horizontal, and then we will just add the whole row to the spiral. This is easy because we just need to get the correct row from the matrix using the row variable. And then we need to make sure that we remove this row from the matrix so that we don't end up in this row again. Now let's do the same thing when we move down vertically. So if you look at this vertical column, we can see that all we need to do is add the last item in each row to the spiral. We need to make sure that once we're done adding a row, we update the column. So after adding this first row, we need to go down the last column. Let's get the row count and subtract 1 to get the index of the last item in the row and assign this value to column. We also need to toggle the horizontal value each time so that we move in a spiral direction. Okay, so now we have the correct column value. We can add the item at index column from all of the rows to our spiral array. We can use the reduce function here to do that. Let's add the column content to a variable first. So I will reduce this matrix into an integer array. We have a partial result and each row as a parameter here. The partial result has this empty integer array to begin with, and we will add the last item of this row to the result. We'll use the column as the index to get this value. We already added 3 to the spiral when we added the row 0. So now we just need to add 6 and 9 to the spiral. Once we have the column, we can just add it to the spiral. Okay, so now we've added the first row and the last column. What happens next? After this, we need to add the last row, but in the opposite direction, right to left. So let's update the row variable to the last row, which is matrix.count -1. Now we need to figure out a way to reverse the direction when needed. If we have a closer look at the spiral, we can see that every time we come to an end of a column, if the column was going in downward direction, we need to reverse the direction, that is, go from right to left. And if the column is going in upward direction, after that, we need to switch back to the original direction, left to right. So that means after adding every column, we need to toggle the direction. Let's have a variable called reverse, which will be false to begin with, and it will be toggled after every column is added. Now the problem is when we're going in reverse direction horizontally, the next column should be column 0. And when we are going in reverse direction vertically, the next row should be row 0. So let's integrate these changes. If we are going in reverse, the next row is row 0. And if we're going downwards, the next row is the last row of the matrix. And we need to do the same thing when updating the column. If we're going in reverse horizontally, we need to add the first column, otherwise the last. And since we're removing all the values as we add them to the spiral, row and column would always either be 0 or maximum. Okay, so now we need to make sure we're also removing the column we added to the spiral from the matrix. This is slightly tricky, but we can use this function called stride to get the index in reverse order to remove the columns. The reason I'm doing this in reverse is to avoid any index out of range issues which can happen if you're removing the entire row. So I'll remove the item at an index column from the row, but here I'm also going to check if any row is empty, then I'll remove the entire row as well. Now we need to make sure that we're adding the row in reverse when the reverse is true. We can call reversed function on this array over here to do that. And same goes for the column. Let's submit this. Oh, it looks like I forgot to add the keyword in here. And over here there's a typo. The variable name is reversed, not reversed. And that's it, we're done. I hope you found this video useful. If you did, please hit the like button. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.